Yeah. Yeah. What is up, everybody? Cornerman here, Ryan the Mighty Quinn. There was a report that Paddy Pimblett is back in the gym training yesterday after his little eating binge. Sounds like he took a little bit of a vacation after his last fight. What was it, November? And at one point, he tipped the scale at 202 pounds. Now, this is really interesting. I know that he plans on, or they potentially fighting at the UFC at the O2 Arena at the end of July in London. What is that? Okay, so technically that's like 8 weeks away. I think that's a horrible idea for him. I'm sure the UFC is not happy about it. I take this from somebody who's made the mistake and was undisciplined and used to blow up after my fights. I remember after my first fight, actually, I never hit 200 pounds, but I remember after my first fight at 155, I ballooned up to like 195 pounds. Horrible for your heart, horrible for your kidneys, but that's for another topic for another day. And then I fought again. So that was in September of 2013. And then February 2014, I fought again. My whole camp wasn't dedicated. And this is what Paddy's going to do if he ends up fighting and has to fight in 8 weeks. My whole camp was not dedicated to the stuff it should have been. It wasn't focused on training. It wasn't focused on drilling and game planning. My focus was on making weight. My focus was on losing weight. It was very stressful, both mentally and physically. It was just, if I do this, I can lose 3 pounds a day doing that. I should be. And then God forbid I didn't lose the 3 pounds a day and now, it was only 2. I'm going to miss weight. But this is the stuff that goes through your head. Or let's say that stuff doesn't go through your head and then bam, I've had this too. The second time I was undisciplined, I had to lose 18 pounds in 24 hours. And that's not unheard of. I'm sure you guys know a lot of horror stories like that. So I really don't think, and with UFC, they're trying to make Paddy Pimblett the next Conor McGregor. I mean, clearly he's not matured enough to do so. First of all, he didn't look exactly invincible in his last fight, and Conor was always ready to fight. Conor was like, look at the Floyd Mayweather thing. They announced the Floyd Mayweather event 5 weeks before it happened. Conor was always in shape, ready to fight. And that's for certain. It looks like they were going to have to do a little stall here. And then the more they push back Paddy Pimblett, if he has to get in shape, that buzz gets lost a little bit. The fans want to see Paddy. They want to see him. They want to see him. They want to see him. And I mean, I'm chomping at the bit. If I'm a mid-level fighter, if I'm a mid-level lightweight, I would jump on. Yeah, I'll fight Paddy Pimblett. He's not worried about fighting me. He's worried about fighting the scale right now. His technique looks in the fight, but literally physically, I'm going to be interested to see what Paddy looks like, because I know me, and it's my Sure Dog profile picture now, and I hate it. I had like loose skin and stuff after I had that bad weight cut. I looked horrible, and you don't hold it well. I mean, I had a 6-pack for like 10 seconds while I stepped on the scale, and then as soon as the water hit me, that was it. But then there's times, where I did it gradually, and I looked great for the fight. I was ripped out, and don't kid yourself. We want to look good when we're out there. So that's going to be interesting to see as well how he loses it. He is young. The weight's going to come off fairly easy, but what is it? 47 pounds is 47 pounds any way you look at it. That's still a lot. I would say the first 20 is probably going to come off fairly easy. Then he's going to hit a little bit of a wall, and then that last few pounds is going to be tough. So that's just what I think. I mean, I think that just someone who's experienced bad weight cuts, being undisciplined, just being fat and happy. I remember. There was this one place by my parents' house I went up for a while. They made this amazing cheeseburger with grilled cheese sandwiches as the buns. This is as good as it sounds, and it had mushrooms and no mushrooms and onions on it. It's called the Heart Attack Burger. Go figure, right? I went to town on that thing for like 3 days straight. And that didn't stop me. Then I came home, was back in Florida before training. I was going eating hot wings, drinking beer, and it's just. It adds up, quite literally. Just look at the scale, and it's not easy, Especially you gotta get your footwork back. Like I said, like you're focused on all the wrong things. Like while you're training, like I was tired putting in extra rounds, even though I was burnt out physically and mentally, because I needed the extra sweat. And then when that starts happening, when the weight cutting, the actual weight cut, there's a difference between losing weight and the weight cut. The weight cut is, the last week or so, few days where you're really just trying to get all the water out. You lose your legs, and sometimes you don't get them back for a fight. It's really going to be interesting in which Paddy Pimblett we see. If it is July, it doesn't really sound favorable. They don't. It doesn't sound like they have an opponent matched up for him just yet. That maybe they want to catch somebody short notice, try to meet in the middle on what kind of shape they're both in. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Paddy till like September. Maybe highlighting a fight night. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised the UFC is just not happy with the way he carried himself over the last few months. This is part of the job. We're professional athletes. This is something that I didn't take into consideration. Oh, and then I got the call from the UFC, and I was fat. I couldn't. I was 37 pounds overweight. I remember they said if Quinn wants to fight, he could take it. I remember it was a UFC in Oklahoma. There was a UFC in Oklahoma, and I was out of shape. I had just been, my contract was up with Bellator the first time. And, obviously he's not going to have to go through that, but some of you young fighters, you might have to go through that. So keep that in mind. You might be in a spot, just, you don't have to like stay in cut weight shape. Like I always stayed in at least round and a half shape, even when I was fat, but like I should have been a little better on my diet. That was my Achilles heel, was my diet, my nutrition plan in the off season. That was my undisciplined action. And I paid pretty heavily for it. I ended up, things worked out for me, but it's just don't make that mistake, young fighters. Paddy, I hope he recovers back. I hope he learns from this. Maybe the UFC will give him a slap on the wrist and be like, listen, we're trying to build behind you, and you're not making it hard because we got to slow things down because of the way you carry your off season. But that's what I got. Got great interviews coming up this week, guys. Please check it out. Like, subscribe, and share if you have not. Tell your friends about me in the MMA community. Later.